I'm Christina with The Turned Leg. I love to salvage, repurpose, and create and help others to do the same. I'm also a booth owner, and I've had a booth at Plaza Antiques and Collectibles Mall since 2015. If you own a booth, if you know anything about it, it is always a work in progress. And many of the questions I'm getting asked from you is, how do you build it? How did you do that? How did you set it up? So today, I'm actually redoing the part to my entrance. I'm gonna make it a little wider and a little higher, hopefully, if all goes well. And I thought I would take you along to show you how I am constructing it to maybe give you some ideas for your own booth. I usually like to plan my overhauls of my display, but sometimes things just work out and you have to do it when you have the time. So there was time for me to be at the mall when no one else was, so I threw a whole bunch of items into my car, tools, lunch, and hoped that I had everything I needed. My original display for my booth was a little bit tiny, and I needed to widen it and raise it up a bit. Demolition is easy. Here is the entrance now to my booth. I guess I need to build it, and that's what you're here to see. So I didn't show you taking it down, but you can see the remnants. Luckily, I was able to do this on a day when the mall was closed. I did leave this door standing, and I use old doors very often in my display. I just attach L brackets to the bottom of them on both sides so it's freestanding. Let's flash back to one of my first booths. You'll see the door on the left there, and I like to use them to create what I call end cap displays. It also gives you more room to hang items and breaks up the booth a little bit so people can't see everything at once. They're encouraged to go in. There's one I made into a chalkboard, and I've also used old screen doors too. I always try to use what I have to make any of my displays in my booth, but you want to make it sturdy. I did recently find a 10-foot ladder that I'm going to put in this display, but I wanted to make sure everything was sturdy, so I bought some fresh boards of lumber just to secure everything in place. I also have tons of hardware. I use L brackets, and I also use these other brackets that hold pipes in place. And I will put links in the description box below for more information on these items. To frame out my entrance, I'm going to use a door on either side, but the door on the left, I'm going to change the direction of the L brackets so I'm securing right into the existing wall. Now sometimes, depending on what screws you have and what brackets, the holes in the brackets are too big. And a cool little trick I've found is that if you have a whole bunch of washers, you can put a washer between the screw and the L bracket so it will fit tight in place. And I added additional L brackets to secure the door right into the existing wall. You want to make sure when you put these things together they're secure. Having someone else really helps. If you don't have someone else, you can use a heavy block or something heavy to lean it up against so you get a nice snug fit. This was the original height of the entrance. I'm going to add another board just to raise it up a little bit. I think a little extra height for taller customers is a good idea. When you're building an entrance, you don't want it too tall if you're going to put some things on the top for the customers to see. If it's too tall, they're not going to see them at all, and they're also not going to want to get them down. For the top of the entrance, I'm using the 2 pieces of lumber that I bought new, and I'm just going to be screwing everything into one another and into the door. I cut the boards on an angle to the length that I needed so they didn't stick out extra. I should probably mention too that I like to use drywall screws when I'm working on my booth. They go in a lot easier. I usually use 1.5 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch depending upon the job. Now it's time to place the 10-foot ladder that I have. Now this is a salvage ladder, but it is sturdy. It's really important if you're using salvage, you test it and make sure that it can hold up for a structure. Now the next step is to secure the ladder to those boards going across and pretty much anywhere it is in contact. And for that, I will be using those pipe attachments. I love these. I'm not exactly sure of the name of them, but they come in so handy over old ladders and just pretty much anywhere you need to use them. Pretty much that's the basics of building an entrance. I will say once you think you're done, I would walk around and make sure everything was secure. You can add more L brackets, or you could even use wood supports on the side on an angle to give it more stability if needed. Another option when you're building your display, if it's not sturdy like mine is that you could use a piece of furniture. I have a hutch to the right there of that door, and I could have actually secured the door to the hutch, giving it a little more stability. Now it's time to decorate. Even though you have built your entrance very well, I recommend putting lighter things on it just in case. Also, it's a lot easier to get those items down if needed. The next step is to add lighting. If you don't have it, it will make it more welcoming. I do not have any plugs on this side of my booth, so I have these really long string lights and they work great. I will leave the link down in the description box below if you're looking for some lighting for your booth. What I really like about the lights is each light comes with a little like hook area that you can put a nail or a screw to attach it wherever you would like. The top of the entrance is complete. Now I need to turn my attention to the sides and make them just as welcoming. I am using like a bookcase that you would put in a garage for storage. I took some boards of wood and stained them just to dress it up a little bit, and I really love this display. It's quite heavy duty. You can also secure it right into the walls so it won't tip over. And now I'm just making things pretty. I thought the camera was set up to tape, but it didn't. So instead you get a picture of me after the fact. Let's take a look at the before for the space and now the after. I love how much the space is opened up, and I think it's even more inviting for my customers. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has helped for those of you that have questions. If I missed something, if you still have a question, put them down in the comments below and I will circle around. I also want to let you know some really exciting news. In case you didn't know, I have a Facebook business group for booth owners. If you have a booth, if you're considering getting a booth, maybe you want a little community and some support and some live weekly tutorials from me. You would get to have a live Facebook with me, questions answered every week. If this sounds interesting to you, the link is in the description box below. You want to go to my website, read all of the information, and then get on the wait list because doors only open twice a year for this group. And those of you on the wait list will get first notification because spots are limited. There will also be a discount for those of you that sign up early to get in the group. So more information on that, check it out below. Thank you so much for watching. Now get out there to salvage, repurpose, and create.